Don't miss that as we continue rolling here on Get Up. Jam-packed squad this morning. We have some college mixed in here as well in this hour, but it is midweek. And you know I tend to be sort of a nervous person.
Yeah.
So let's do Wednesday worries. Jeff, I've got some questions.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers after last week's loss?
Oh, I am. Listen, you think about the Chargers got after Aaron Rodgers, sacked him 3 times, pressured him a ton, and didn't have to bring the blitz. You see the safety. This is not a good look for an older quarterback getting pressured the way they are without teams having to blitz. That could be a massive issue for the Steelers offense and trying to keep up this AFC run.
Yeah, that almost felt like a rhetorical question, to be honest with you. I think everyone is worried about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Neek, this is a better one. Are you worried about Josh Allen and the Bills after losing this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the rest of the AFC is not nearly as strong as it was last year, so they have a chance. But it reminds me a lot of what we saw with Patrick Mahomes last year, where they're asking him to do a lot because the issues that they have on one side of the ball, and they're not quite giving him the support to do so. Of course, they have a really good offensive line and a running back, but that man needs some help in a receiver core. It's really unfortunate right now. But, I mean, he's Josh Allen, so he's going to be fine, but I am worried about him putting too much on his back.
Let's get to the NFC. K-Mart, are you worried about J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings after their loss to Baltimore?
Okay, Greeny, long term, I'm not worried about J.J. McCarthy. But I was at this Ravens-Vikings game, and here's the good news. Late in the game, the Vikings still had a chance. However, J.J. McCarthy, he's young, right? As the game goes on, his accuracy seems to drop, and he seems to get a little skittish and wants to, it just seems very chaotic or frantic at moments. I think that's because he's young.
He's only played 4 games.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember that sometimes. Lewis, then let's talk about Monday night. Are you worried about Jordan Love and the Packers?
I'm worried a little bit. What did Nick just say? He was worried about Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because the things surrounding him. It's the things surrounding him that's worrying me a little bit with the Green Bay Packers. The running game is not strong enough. They're not good as far as getting ahead of the sticks and staying on schedule and playing on time. The wide receiver group is banged up. They drop too many passes. The running game just isn't explosive enough. There's just a lot of things going on. Now, that does not absolve Jordan of making bad decisions at crucial times because he has to cut that out. So I am worried. I'm not discouraged, but I am worried.
I think there's a lot of people who are worried about it. And so, Peter, let's talk about what we're seeing in this team right now. Week 1, they obliterate. No one had a better first week of the season than the Packers did, who a week before the season began, they traded for the best defensive player in the whole league. He came out. That building was as electric, Lambeau, that opening weekend as you could imagine. They played the biggest of the big boys in the NFC, and they crushed them. And you think to yourself, they are on their way. Frankly, they haven't looked like that since. Even that great game they played against Pittsburgh, Steelers defense is not that. They haven't looked like that team since. And the question is, will they again?
I don't know because the injuries are real. Tucker Kraft is George Kittle to them.
Yeah.
He was a dynamo player. He's out for the year. You start going to Bo Melton, who we loved at Rutgers and we loved in his little spots with the Packers on offense the last couple of years. He's been playing corner for them all year. And in big moments, Jordan Love was looking for Bo Melton on Monday night. And that's because of the injuries. Reed's injured. Obviously, Dontavian Wicks was injured, and now you've got Matthew Golden banged up, Romeo Doubs banged up. At some point, you can't just blame the quarterback. You have to actually look at it. And when you get the injuries on the offensive line, I'm not making excuses for Jordan Love. I'm doing the same thing Lewis. I'm not making an excuse for him. You want him to rise everybody and say, hey, I got this. Throw it on me. We'll figure it out. But at some point, personnel matters. I don't see him as the weak link on this team. I see him as trying to do his best in a situation that is not ideal.
Yeah, look, Matthew Golden coming back. I believe he comes back this week. That's got to be huge. Zach Tom coming back has to be huge on the offensive line. They've got to get this running game going. The success rate on first down rushing the football has to be a lot better. When he throws you the football, you got to catch the football. And Jordan, when you're throwing the football, make sure you're throwing it to the guys who are in green jerseys or white jerseys. Don't throw it to the other team. The defense is championship caliber. We know this. But, yeah, there's some things that they got to get going on here because the NFC is stacked this year. His division is stacked up. Have we noticed what the Bears are doing lately? I mean, there's a lot of things going on that put them right up against it.
The Packers are in 3rd place in that division as we speak. Now, they have all these divisional games left, and, in fact, they are expected to win 7 of their last 8. Let's show you A18. Packers are favored to win 7 of their final 8 games. Week 13 at Detroit is the only game that our analytics project them to lose. However, that hasn't meant much before because we were supposed to beat the Browns and we were supposed to beat the Panthers, and we didn't do that, and it was Jordan Love making the critical mistakes in both of those games that contributed to it in a big way. There's a part of this, Neek, that also comes down, I think, a little bit to expectations.
Right.
When you are the next quarterback in that lineage, right? It was Favre, and they drafted Rodgers and developed him, and he steps in, and they drafted Love, and he steps in, and initially looks so good.
Right.
They make that playoff run, and you're thinking, he's the next one. He's going to be the next one to ascend to that. He's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be the next great NFL quarterback. And right now he isn't. He's a good NFL quarterback, and I think on some level we are comparing him to what we expect him to become.
It's true of him, and it's true of the entire team. I think that expectations for what they have, and that's fine. Those expectations are there for a reason. That team has shown us they can be that good, and that quarterback has shown us that he can be that good. It's a bit of a trap that we have with some of these super talented quarterbacks is we expect them to be able to get rid of the bad habits and also hold on to the good stuff. He hasn't been able to do that consistently enough yet, and I think part of that is why we start looking at the coaching, is because the person who's expected to develop him is the offensive mind who's been entrusted with him. And if he hasn't gotten that under control yet, you're not going to look for a new quarterback. You're going to look at the coach and say, you have to figure out how to address this. And I think coaches get stuck in their ways. There's a philosophy that I like and things that I want to do, and I continue to do it. And I think when you want Jordan Love to have any quarterback have success passing, it's important to do it on early down.
This just jumped into my head when you were saying that. There was a moment early in the game on Monday night. Anyone who watched it will know what I'm talking about, where Troy Aikman was making a very big deal of the fact that Matt LaFleur was spending a bunch of time looking at a tablet, and there had been a play where they had a man wide open. I forget who the receiver was. They had someone wide open, and the point is that LaFleur looked really frustrated that Love had missed it, hadn't seen it.
Quarterbacks in our game, when you're producing as poorly as they are, you're going to get questioned and called out. Decision-making at that position in particular is vital. And when you turn the ball over against the Browns late in the game that you should win, you got an issue, right? Like this, I mean, it's directly, right? Like you throw a pick. You go to the Panthers game, you throw an arm punt basically into triple coverage back in. Like what do we do? It's like he just was like, I'm gonna throw this ball no matter what, right? And you got what are we doing? And then we have the end of the first half on Monday night. Take the 3 points. And so I think the problem for LaFleur is, you can talk a guy to death on the sideline, but if the game is speeding up in his head and he's missing wide open receivers, or he's not putting the ball, or he feels like he's getting pressure, or his receivers aren't where they're supposed to be, all of a sudden he's out of his game and he's trying to do too much. We said the same of Josh Allen early in his career. You're trying to do, and really against the Dolphins last week, he fell back into that trap, right? As a quarterback, you can't be part of the problem. You have to be the solution for it. Sometimes that means eating the ball, kicking the field goal, making those plays. Right now, neither are in alignment, and that's showing up by not scoring 20 points in 2 games.
The difference, though, and everyone knows this, but it's worth reminding you, is that Josh Allen arrived at a team that hadn't done any winning for a very long time and wasn't expected to, and thus he was able to develop at a reasonable pace. This is a team that traded for Micah Parsons before the season began. That's the leadership of the organization saying, our time is right now.
And unfortunately for Jordan Love, every time you talk about Jordan Love, there's the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love graphic. Like the Packers have only had these 3 quarterbacks on all this time. And the stat comparison between Rodgers and Jordan Love, like around this age is when
27.
Rodgers did this and Brett Favre did that. With Jordan Love, coming to the season, it was you need to see him take care of the football. You need to see him make smarter decisions. So to your point about you cannot be at the quarterback position, the reason your team is losing games, that was already his Achilles heel. And now we're seeing that. We've seen glimpses of he can be this great quarterback and then kind of falls back to earth. Now's the time to show people.
20 for 20, right? Like he goes through these spurts where you're like, wow.
Yes.
But we got to have consistency at that position. Like that's the bottom line.
Maybe the interesting thing is, for me, you could tell me this season is going to end for them anyway, and I wouldn't be stunned. You could tell me they're going to get red hot and they're going to win the whole thing. I'd say, yeah, sounds about right. You could tell me they're going to crash and burn and miss the playoffs. I'd say, yeah, sounds about right. It hangs in the balance right now.
I just think real quick, the bitter pill is that you held Saquon to 60 yards. You held A.J. Brown to 2 catches for 13 yards.
Preach.
And you were at home in a spotlight game with everyone. This is a game that everyone circled back when the schedules came out as Monday night's best matchup. And you scored 7 points.
The defense has lived up. That's the point. The defense has done its job.
Yeah, you have 8 weeks left to go.
That's right.
You have 8, and we've seen how this league ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Look, they got to find a way to get back to the basics and make sure they clean up the picture.
And you're seeing.
It's as simple as that.
6 easiest schedule.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Except after the Giants, they got all their division rivals.
Oh, it's
don't
in a
make
row.
it happen.
The important games start now. Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter, this is awful, is going to miss the rest of the season as he undergoes surgery on his right knee. He had his lateral collateral ligament repaired, is expected to return to football activities within 6 months. Very quickly, Lewis, you and I sat there together on draft night when the Jaguars make this huge aggressive trade to go all the way up to get him, and we're thinking, is this going to completely change football? The comparisons, you tell me the comparisons people were making and what we actually saw.
The name Shohei Ohtani was being brought up
Right.
about the fact that you're going to get a 2-for-1 with this player, that he can major in 2 positions at the highest level of football on the face of the earth, which no one has ever done. You can't be a superstar in both, because what's going to wind up happening is you're going to take from both positions in terms of you're going to take a loss at both positions if you're trying to be experts at 2. It's hard enough to be an expert at 1. And what winds up happening now, and I'm not saying that this is the reason for the injury. We don't know why the injury occurred. Heck, I don't even know if the injury occurred during a game, if this was a practice injury or what. But his level of performance, the return on investment that they got for him relative to what they paid to get him, that's not how it's done. That's not what, and you could almost see this coming, Neek, Jeff. I mean, you could almost see this coming because of the fact that you know how hard it is to master one position, let alone with him. It wasn't like you were trying to say, hey, look, I want to be an all-pro corner and I'll give you 20 snaps on offense. No, for them it was, you're going to be a Pro Bowler at both.
Right.
It's like, what? No one's ever done that. And I know he was trying to break new ground.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to have to rethink their strategy heading into 26.
And you made this very good point this morning.
Yeah, this was a brand new brass in Jacksonville, and it's a 34-year-old general manager in James Gladstone. It's Tony Baselli is now the president. They have a new coach. This was a huge swing. It was almost symbolic to the rest of the league that I know this hasn't been done, but we're coming in and we're going to take a big swing. We're going to be aggressive. We're a new Jaguars. You're going to be talking about us. And Travis Hunter just happens to be the guy that they made that big swing on. You didn't only just draft him second overall. You traded next year's first-round pick. So they needed this to happen, and they needed this to work. For it to end this way is pretty heartbreaking for them as well, because they thought this was going to be their statement to the rest of the league. We're changing football.
Here's what I thought at the Combine, standing in front of Travis Hunter as he's explaining, which is somebody needs to save him from himself. All these college kids come in thinking, I can do this, I can do that. But somebody in the organization had to say, hey, kid, just be great at one position, except the organization needed to do it.
All right, let me leave it there. I just thought it was worthy of a note because this was the biggest story of the entire offseason.
And it's the player who proves his detractors wrong and does it multiple times. I feel like we've done this conversation last year with Darnold on the Vikings saying, Sam Darnold. Now he's doing it again with the Seahawks. If you do it this many times in a row, you get an award named after you, with everyone in the summer doubting your abilities, and then you prove them wrong and go and have an incredible regular season.
I like it.
Sam Darnold Award.
The Sam Darnold Award, that could be sort of representative of all of these resurrected quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Like given up on, left for dead. That was the word I was looking for. The left for dead club.
No question.
Baker Mayfield, left for dead. Daniel Jones, left for dead. Sam Darnold, left for dead. And there are
Mac
others.
Jones,
There
left
will
for
be.
dead.
Mac Jones is a
Throw
good one.
Jared Goff in there, too.
Jared Goff at one time. They paid him to take him off his hands. And now here they are. I like this. You want to make Sam Darnold the face of it? I'm all good with it. Meanwhile, speaking of faces, give me Kimberly. Let's go. There we go. Would K-Mart be shocked? Let's start in Pittsburgh. K-Mart, if I said the Steelers are going to miss the playoffs, would K-Mart be shocked?
Maybe I should couch my answer because I have to cover them this week. But no, not shocked. You know why? Because the Steelers consistently do this. Even when they start hot, they seem to falter down the stretch. They just have a lot of issues and they're not consistent. This defense has to play better. Rodgers has to play better. It's really simple, and I don't know if they're going to.
This week was alarming, I think, against the Chargers. How about this one? Would you be shocked if the Patriots wind up the 1 seed in the AFC?
Not shocked. For all the reasons we said, I think during the last segment, they've got all the pieces. They've got the head coach, the quarterback, the running game by committee. This is a team you do not want to face in the playoffs because they believe and they've got the talent and they've already beaten their biggest opposition, which is the Bills thus far.
And then the last one, maybe the most important game of this weekend, Kansas City at Denver. And here, listen to the way this question is framed. Would you be shocked if the Broncos upset the Chiefs? And yes, it would be an upset.
Yeah.
Kansas City is a 3.5-point favorite.
Okay. I'd be surprised, but not shocked. The Chiefs are 13-1 against the Denver Broncos. Mahomes is. So obviously history's on their side, but the Broncos, they have a very good team, and the Chiefs just feel very uneven. I would not be surprised if they won. I would be surprised.
I want to show you two different
what did I say?
sets
Not
of
shocked?
numbers. Let me show you two numbers. The AFC West comes down to this game. If the Broncos win, they would have a 3.5 game lead over Kansas City. They would have a 65% chance to win the division. If the Chiefs win, their chances would be boosted to 36%, which would be the highest of any team in the division. And so what does all this mean? It means that our analytics and that Las Vegas still loves Kansas City. If the season ended today, the 5-4 Chiefs would not be in the playoffs. However, they remain the Super Bowl favorites, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook, just ahead of the Rams and the Eagles, who are at plus 700. So this is the way, and Jeff, no one is more fascinated by gambling, and I've enjoyed watching you learn all of this over the course of the last couple of years. Does it make sense to you that the Kansas City Chiefs, right now, 5-4, outside looking in on the playoffs, are the Super Bowl favorites?
No, I don't. And honestly, if you watched them against the Bills, I know they got the bye week right now. They're about to come off of one, but man, their offensive line has not protected Patrick Mahomes. When you see the Chiefs lose, it's typically because the offensive line is not protecting Patrick Mahomes. And all the fast receivers and all the explosive plays and all those things, Tom Moore, my old offensive coordinator, had a great saying I can't say on TV, but basically you can throw all those plays in the trash can because they're of no good if you can't protect the quarterback. And right now, they have not done a good job with that. The clock in Patrick Mahomes' head is as fast as I've ever seen. When you watch him play, he doesn't seem comfortable. And so hopefully the bye week, Andy Reid, they get this thing right that they just had. They come back out and look different. But what I've seen so far to tell me, after you've watched Seattle, you've watched the Rams, you've watched the Eagles, you've watched the Colts, I don't see how you would say it's just a clean sweep. They should be the favorite for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, I get your point. And I think that is going to be where the game hinges on Sunday. No doubt it's going to be up front. And it's not necessarily going to be on the edge. It's going to be really on the inside. I mean, Zach Allen is a beast. And right now, they're going to be targeting Trey Smith. Trey's going to get a lot of attention. And that is going to be something that Kansas City is going to have to account for. Now, what's interesting about Kansas City, though, Jeff, and I see the same things you do, is that as far as measured by pass block win rate, they're top 10 in the NFL, which is it's a little confusing, okay? Which means, look, I don't know exactly how this game is going to play out, but I think that is going to be where it's going to be decided. And if they can get things settled down as far as the pass protection is concerned, there's no doubt I see why they're the favorite.
So, Peter, I want you to read the teams at the bottom of the screen.
In the hunt.
The Chiefs, and look who else is down there. The Ravens. Look who else is on the second line, the Bills. If the season ended right now, the Bills would be the 6th seed. Chiefs and Ravens would be out. But those are the big boys in the AFC for as long as we can sort of remember in recent times. If I offered you right now those 3 teams or all the rest of the teams to wind up in the Super Bowl this year, if I'm giving you Lamar, Josh, and Patrick, or the rest of the field, which one would you take?
I go back to something Belichick used to say, and he would tell his team and he would tell the media, the season really doesn't start till Thanksgiving. If you're really one of these teams, one of these contenders, I would still take the powers. I would take the guys, the traditional ones that we have seen year after year after year. January football is different, but so is December. I cannot overreact in early November and say I'm out on the Chiefs. When it matters most, Patrick Mahomes shows up. When it matters most, Josh Allen shows up. When it matters most, sometimes Lamar Jackson shows up. I'll take those 3 guys over the unknown of what we're expecting with the rest of the field.
The Ravens right now, they actually are getting hot at the right time.
They are.
Their record, it is not good. But they are actually, guys are back healthy, and they're playing better. I will say with the field, if the Chiefs are a wild card team, if the Bills are a wild card team, but really the Chiefs,
they're going to be favored in every game.
Are you not picking them?
Yeah.
Against any of those other teams? Well, not you.
No, I'm saying right now, if you would take the Chiefs over the Patriots in New England?
In a playoff game, I would.
I would.
I would.
Okay.
I would.
Why are you not talking about the Colts?
Well, I'm for sure biased.
That was his.
Honestly, I think that is the team that, for me, because of the way they can control the game on the ground,
run the rock,
come the December and January. Hey, man, that's the team. If I'm going to pick against Kansas City, that's the team I'm picking.
You're talking
right
to
now.
my sweet ear, dog.